Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ade'Kamil, and we are back with episode number 2 of Growing Through My Pain. I'm excited to be back here again. It's still as challenging as the last one. The last one, it was a lot, and we're gonna pick back up off of that into a conversation that was. This episode came into fruition as far as the idea of it. Is because of a question that was asked to me from a close friend, and we talked about love, the topic of love, and that came up, and I was asked, how do I define love? Excuse me. This is real. I'm not gonna edit it out or whatever. But how do I define love? And when I first got the question, I just had to take a breather, okay, and then I'm like, you know what, this would be a great episode, and I'll just talk about it. I'll just ramble about it versus telling I don't know. I just didn't want to do the whole paragraph thing, and I felt like this was a great bridge. A great bridge question into a next episode. So if you guys watched episode 1, I talked about growing through the pain of dealing with the loss of my mother and how that affects me today and how it affected me growing up. And that wasn't easy, and the more and more comfortable I get, the more easier those conversations have become. So that question, how do I define love, or what is love to me? I think for me, it obviously is birthed from there. And it's also how do we view love? So love to me is a lot of things, but most importantly, depending on it being romantic or platonic, it looks different, and our experiences with love kind of dictate the individuals that we are. So like I said in the last one, I didn't have that motherly love from the actual source, and that impacted me in a lot of ways, and just chasing that type of love, or the social expectations of that love, such as nurturing, being held accountable, things like that. So there are aspects that I was missing from that piece of love, like the love that a mother gives to her son, that I then sought out in the real world from different people, especially lovers and things like that. So what is love to a day? It's a verb. It's an action. So and it can also be passive too. So when I say love is an act, like a verb, I mean to love someone means you are doing things. You are doing things. Love is to love. And that might just be showing up for somebody, giving them support, giving them advice, nurturing them, protecting them. Those all of those things, come out of love. And for me, I have this saying, we always hear people say and this episode I'm gonna ramble, but I'm gonna find a point. But that's because love is all over the place in many ways. But back to what I was saying, love, we always hear people say this unconditional love, or I love you unconditionally. And I was having a conversation with another friend, I don't believe in that wholeheartedly. I think love is very, very conditional, because if these things aren't maintained, whether you have a platonic relationship or a romantic relationship, whether it's a family, friend, aunt, cousin, whatever, lover, we like to think that our love is unconditional, but it comes with conditions. love comes with maintenance. You have to maintain it, and that is an aspect of love. Even self-love, you have to maintain it. So there's a maintenance that comes with love. So for me, part of my definition with love is maintenance. So that's like when you think about, like, let's say like you and your friends have been friends for a while. Part of the maintenance is doing check-ins and checkups and making sure they're all right. If they have something, an event, or if they start in a new project, just supporting them in that way. Just showing that you're there and showing that you care about having a healthy and functional relationship. I think that's what love is. And what blurs the line of love is the toxic and traumatic experiences that we have in our adolescence and teenage years. I think that's what dilutes, the purity of love. Because when you think about children, they love so pure, and they love just, it's not even recklessly, it's just freely. It just is so natural to love, especially like when you think about like the first people you loved is probably your family members, and then like friends in school, and then as you got older and you were faced with either, again, traumatic experiences, or you were exposed to toxic behaviors, then that changed your framing of how you saw love, or how you acted out, how you put love out there. So for an example, if like you were like abandoned by a parent, or you just experience abandonment, like the way you love as you grow up, if you experience that as a child into your teenage years, then when you're this adult, that abandonment aspect of it will affect how you love. So love is affected by our traumas, by toxic conditions, toxic environments, and those things. But more importantly, love is it's honestly, it's an experience. I've been fortunate enough to have taken myself on this journey that I'm sharing with you all, just like for like the past year and a half, like I was saying before. But to experience love in the midst of all of this chaos that I've endured has been great, because it's come in many ways. It's not always looked the same, and I'm grateful for it. But the most important love is the love that I've had to give myself. Excuse me. So knowing that there were aspects of love that that I didn't get when I was younger, as an adult, I'm having to fill in those voids, and that journey in itself has been, you fall in love with yourself, you expose yourself to your flaws and all of these things, and it's just like, wow, like damn, who is this guy? Who is this being? Who am I? And when you find out who you are, the love that you get in finding out who you are and what you're about, and like where you're going, I think is one of the most rewarding parts in choosing to heal yourself, and choosing to love yourself, and choosing better for yourself. Definitely. And like I said, like as far as romantic love, what is that? It's saying, here's where I'm at, I'm here, I want to get here, and here's where you are, and you want to be here, and we want to be here together. So here's how we're going to get there, here's how I need to get there, here's how I learn what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and you're telling me the same. And as long as we keep the same goal in mind, that moving forward in our own paths, but together. That shit is dope. And you know that recently, you know, revelation like that came to me where it's just like it feels good to know like you're just in that same space with someone, as far as like just like wanting the same thing, um, wanting the same thing, and going about it the same way. And so it's rambling in the sense of like that's just what love is. Like if someone has like a clear cut definition of love, love is this and love is that. It's layers, but most importantly, love is active. Love, you have to do love. You have to participate in love. You can love someone passively, yes, like like family members who have who have been toxic to you, who have just been nasty to you. You can love them passively. It's a passive love in the effect of like I'm not going out my way to maintain this, but the love is there just because you know we do have these soft spots. We do, you know, love is natural. As active as it is, as much of a verb that it is, you know, it comes natural to us. So when we go against that natural instinct to love, you know, it kind of complicates everything and lines get blurred. But so we do have the ability to just allow it to be natural and allow it to be passive. But you know, when we think of love, we think of something that is active. Like, you know, we all want to, like, when you think of kids and how they love by like the actual bunch of questions. They cling on to you, they hug you, they talk to you, they communicate with you, they open up to you, they do all of these things actively. But it's, to give you anything other than love is just it's just too much on the spirit, you know. Like it's just too much. It's draining me. It's draining me. It's pulling me down, pulling me in a direction that I don't want to go. And so passive love is equally as important. But active love, to love actively, means we're doing maintenance on our relationship. My bad, something fell in the back. But we're doing maintenance on our relationship. We're making sure that it's like a car. That just came to me. It's like a car. You know, you have to do maintenance on your car, because if you ignore it, then that's how your engine blows. That's how your exhaust falls out. You have to put gas into your car. You have to get your tires changed, wheels aligned, all of those things. You have to, because when you don't, and I guess the way I'm framing love in this context is as like the actual relationship aspect of love. When you don't perform maintenance on your vehicle, you know, it no longer works properly, and then it's more expensive. It becomes more and more expensive, and this is like as the toxicness and as it stacks up and accumulates, it becomes more and more expensive to fix the car. And then before you know it, you need a new car. And it's not easy to get a new car. No one has like money like that to just keep getting new cars, but just like do your maintenance on love. And that is like my definition of it. Do your maintenance in your relationships, in the relationship with yourself, in a relationship that you have spiritually, in a relationship that you have with other people, whether it be romantic or platonic. Perform those maintenance checks and check all balances, because you want the love that you give, the love that you share, to be active. And I think we all naturally strive for an active love, and that's where the balance comes in. Is, you know, people are trying to love actively, and it's hard, it's not easy, but I do believe we can all in many ways make that decision. But it has to, like, you know, everyone's where they are. But I just think you know, love is an action. Love is an action, you know, because we see love, we feel love, we experience love, we are love. So, you know, perform those maintenance on your relationships. And we can't just think of relationships with other people. We have to remember that we have to have a relationship with ourselves. um, first before anything, have that spiritual relationship. And as you have a spiritual relationship, you grow to understand and overstand yourself a lot better. So, I don't want to ramble too much longer. But, you know, the definition of love is just an action, an experience, and human nature. I don't think we go out of our way to hate. I think hate is a learned response to not experiencing love where we are. And as we become adults, it gets really hard to undo hate. But we have to do that in order to have personal balance. And that's not saying everything has to be hanky panky, lovey dovey, in the most positive sense, because I think love forces you to have a lot of uneasy conversations and a lot of wake up calls. And love isn't perfect, but love is what we all aspire to be and experience. And as we grow through our pain, love continues to show up, and we have to face it, whether it was a lack of love or just repairing and maintaining the love that we are presently experiencing. Yeah, man, I just hope this resonates. I hope you can cipher through what I was saying, and find something that sticks. But love. And if you know what I'm saying, you know what I just said. But yeah, so in due time.